So this is my last try, and this will crash again. And I just checked, I was going to actually pay for StreamYard on the spot and use it, but it will not work with a mobile device. So after this crash, that's it until I can find a webcam, an external webcam I can put onto the computer where the computer thinks it's a legitimate webcam, and then I should be able to stream directly to YouTube without a problem. So well, eventually somebody will watch this, and before we crash, I'll finish with what I was saying. I'm just curious how the Carentan scenarios, well, scenarios in general are made, but there are, and you're welcome to take a look at this. I'm assuming you have this stuff. Clearing Carentan scenario, starter kit, Beyond the Beaches, 43. Death at Carentan. Scenario A59 is in ASL Annual 93A. And let's see for yourself the differences. It's the same battle. And you can see how they've done it differently. And it's all very curious to me. Again, I understand that one's starter kit, one's not, and there's going to be differences in that respect. But yeah, I'm just curious as to how they do that stuff. Thing before we die. That's not funny. Before we crash. Careful what choice of words I use these days. Got this in the mail, and hasn't even been opened. Played the Hunters, loved it, and I've gone on record as saying the Hunters is a game that is, its only foible is it's probably too perfect. And what I mean by that is it is a straight, in my opinion, pretty much a straight simulation. Yes, there's dice and there's some element of chance involved, but I guess I'm not trying to say there's anything bad about it. You just have to play it. It's a great game. It's done fantastically, but at the same time, there's a certain feel that it has. Again, it seems a little too I don't want to say scripted, or I don't know, you just have to play it. But it's great stuff, obviously, and this is the sad times. The good old days of seeing how much tonnage you can knock out has turned into, can you just get home alive and not die? And then this came from Compass Games. It's a card game. And you've got a couple of battles here. You have Borodino and Leipzig. I don't know how well this will play solitaire. Probably, it says low, but there's some stuff in here that is not going to, it's going to be a challenge to play this solo. Now, technically anything can be played solo, even chess, but I mean, there's definitely some things that they lose their luster if they're played solo, and I might be pushing it with that, but we'll see how that goes. And that's pretty much what's been on my table. So the ASL Carentan scenario, which I'm playing and using in an effort to inspire a design of my own. The NAM stuff, card game, that's just kind of a quick passing the time thing. I'm not die hard into developing this, really. And then I've got these guys that I need to crack open and get into, among other things. And also I'm waiting on Old School Tactical Volume 3, the Pacific stuff, the main core module and then the expansion module. And that'll be exciting because there's a counter somewhere in there, Sergeant, with my last name that Shane so kindly put on the counter. So if you see a Sergeant Cruz, Kruse, that's me. He, out of the kindness of his heart, I didn't ask him. Said, hey, send me a picture, and I saw my name on there. I was like, wow, was that intentional? I mean, is that going to be in the game? I mean, all the above, yes. So I'm flattered. Thank you, Shane. And thank you, Shane, for all the good designing that you do. Old school tactical is meat and potatoes tactical system. It's once you learn it, it's easy to learn. Once you learn it, you won't have to refer back to the rules often. It's a pretty straightforward stuff. Where are we at now here? I expect this to crash at any time. I really apologize. I thought the Ethernet cable would help solve the problem. It hasn't. So again, my intention is to find an external webcam, hook it to the computer so I then have a webcam. And I'm hoping that'll solve the problem. Otherwise, the saga continues. Bless you guys for sticking it out. And I know next time I say, hey, there's going to be a live stream, you're going to thumb your noses at me and say, yeah, I've got better things to do. I'd rather watch paint dry. I get it, but thank you for bearing with me. And yeah, Viper Dave, that really touches on the whole point of this anyway. This is not a, hey everybody, show and tell, look at me, listen to all the awesome stuff I've done. The whole intent behind this is for us to interact, get a little human contact going. Like I said, a number of us are maybe getting a little stir crazy, cabin fever, that type of stuff. So that was the intention behind doing this. I think Dan, and knowing him, he's here for what he does, helping to keep us entertained. And one suggestion I have, Dan, if you see this, I do appreciate your interviews with better, more well-known folk within the industry, but I also very much so appreciate the interviews that you do with lesser known folk. These people aren't in the spotlight, and they are just as important in our hobby as the bigger name folks that everybody knows because their name's on a box. You know, I'm jealous. That's fantastic, but it doesn't necessarily make you better or what you do any better than what any of us do. So definitely look forward to seeing more interviews, Dan, with the lesser known, I don't know what you call them, the boots on the ground folk that just game. I find that just as interesting, if not more so, than listening to big name designers answer the same questions we all ask big name designers. Sometimes that gets a little, seems a little contrived and gets a little old. But that said, again, thank you, Dan, and thank you all you guys for those of you that create content and share it and do so of your own free will for free and take the time to do it. That's appreciated. That's all how we get this thing rolling. And that's what makes this hobby great. So a big cheers and thank you to all of you guys. Still rolling. We should take bets on when we're gonna crash. What is it, 9 o'clock now? So it's been, minus the interruptions and the late start, an hour, probably more like 50 minutes. I was leaning towards 2 hours of this, but that all depends on this third and final stream. So